Hi everybody, welcome back to More Fun with Felt. Today we're going to make a little tiny 1-inch mouse. It's going to be super fun and super cute. It's not going to take a whole lot of time, so let's go ahead and get started with what materials you're going to need. You're going to need carded wool, one for the body. This is kind of like a terracotta color, and one for the little nose. This is pink, this is way too much. And then one for the tail. You can use the same color for the tail as you use for the nose if you don't have two opposite colors. I like to go with a flesh tone for the tail. This is a just a sheet of felt that you can get at Hobby Lobby, and I buy this for the ears. It's just a lot easier to do the ears that way. You're going to need a clear glue that sticks well. I like to use for my eyes the clear Gorilla Glue. It just works really, really well. I don't have to worry about them falling out. Your needles, you can use whatever you have on hand. You don't have to go out and buy specific needles for this. This is a 38, this is a 36, this is a 42, and 40 spiral, and I think this is a 40 star. So I will probably not use all of them, but I'll use some of them. This is a little tool I have two 42 triangles in, probably be using that. And you'll need an awl. This is a tiny little awl. I use this when I do my small projects. So a tiny little awl that might have come in a starter kit is perfectly fine. An ice pick would work as well. You'll need a skewer, some scissors. I have a small and a large here, but whatever you have on hand again is perfectly fine. You may need a ruler. Didn't really use a ruler while I was making mine, but if you want to compare to mine, I will measure for you today. For the tail, I'm going to be using Power Wax today. It's a water-based cold wax. I have been told by some of the people watching my tutorials that they have changed the formula, and I have not purchased a new one yet. I'm at the very bottom of mine, so I don't know how that's going to affect it. So if you don't have this, you can use either an Elmer's clear glue or an Elmer's white glue. It's not really going to matter, mixed with a little bit of water. So it'll just be a little mixture. I won't be using this today. I'll be using the Power Wax, but this is definitely a substitute, much cheaper, and it will work just the same. I have a little fabric transfer marker just to make my ears. Not necessary. You can just cut them out, by sight. If you do want to make your mouse like a little ornament or hanging, I'll show you how to do that. You're just going to need some string, and I use this, I think it's really for crochet. It has a little loop at the back of it to pull the string through, and it's real thick, so it gets in very well. So I'll show you how to do that if you're interested in that. And I believe that's it. That's all you need. So let's go ahead and get started. And you need a 1-inch ball. This is a pre-made ball that I purchased on Amazon. I'll put the link in the description. If you don't want to purchase this, you can make it out of core wool. It's just a little 1-inch ball. It's probably even a little bit less than 1 inch. No, it's around about 1 inch. So you're going to start with that. Take the color that you want your mouse to be and just tear off, about a 5-inch chunk or so. Width-wise, we want this to be about 2 inches wide. And then length, this one at its longest is 5 inches, at its shortest is about 4.5. So that's going to be okay on length. So 2 by 4 should be perfectly fine. You're going to lay your little ball on the right side of your pull of carded wool. And then what I like to do is just fold it over on both sides and pull it up around him. And then you can take a 38 or a 36, either one of those would work fine. And you're just gonna start stabbing to secure the wool to the ball. And just turn all the way around and get it tacked down pretty well all the way around that ball. If you see a bare spot like that, don't worry about it. We're just going to take the short end here and wrap it right up around. So whether you see a bare spot or not, do that next. And then just keep stabbing. Watch your fingers. This is a small little project, so be mindful. And then just keep turning his little body and tacking him down. Anywhere that you see it's puffy. We're going to go over this all at the end, so if you don't, have every little section, it's okay right now. Okay, so on this end over here, you are going to use your fingers to sort of form the slant of the nose. So you're gonna see where you like that in comparison to your ball. I normally stop about right there. So for reference, that's about maybe 1 inch off the ball. So hold on to that and then just pull the rest of this off. Okay, so you're gonna have that 1 inch and some fuzz at the end, which is perfectly fine. So now what you're gonna do is lay it down, and then it doesn't really matter top or bottom what you start on, but you're gonna fold it over into like a triangle from both sides, top and bottom. Take your 38, let me just move my finger so you can see. So I folded it into a triangle, down and then up, made it like almost like a triangle shape coming off of that body. And now I'm going to take my 38 again and just very gently just stab this shape into place. So when I lift that up, you can see now it's kind of like the body and then it's shaping up to the nose. So now I'm going to take this and just sort of twist it around, and then I'm going to figure out which side needs more bulk on it, and I'll just tack it down on that side. So I think this one has a little less, so I'm going to just twist it, fold it over, and just tack it in. Okay, and then I'm going to continue forming that shape, just putting these all together. So you can definitely see the ball and then the slant into the nose right now. I'm going to move to a lighter needle. I'm going to pick up my 40 spiral, and I'm just going to start very gently getting this forehead down, stabbing into this little snout that we just added. As I do that, it's going to thicken it up. Go straight from where the tip of the nose should be, and then work on either side. So you're going to go straight in here And then you're going to go at this angle this way and at an angle this way. Right now I'm seeing some vegetable matter in there. I'm not too worried about it. It will felt its way out, and whatever doesn't, I can pull it out in a little bit. And I just want to keep focusing on getting that triangle. And it is going to start rounding up a little bit, looking smoother. And the end of the nose should be much thinner than the rest of the nose. So that's kind of what we're focusing on. So I'm concentrating going into the end of the nose all the way around. See if we can get some of that fiber off. It's already come to the top. And I'm just looking for anything that's lumpy or bumpy. And I'm just going to start knocking that down. Now, just to get that smoothed out a little bit, I'm just going to pick up what we pulled off already, pulling off a little 2-inch piece, just 2 inch by 1/2 inch. And I'm just going to now take that and very lightly just fold that around the nose, kind of holding the excess. Not sure if I'll need it or not. And this is just going to help everything be smooth and blended. Turn it over. It's really simple. Basically, you're making like almost like a teardrop shape. These will make really great little gifts. You can give them in stocking stuffers or Christmas ornaments. I know we're not near Christmas right now, but they would be great for that. So I decided just to let the rest of that fringe lay across the back of the mouse, and I'm just going to tack it down. You could have also torn it off, so just depending on, you know, how thin or fat you want your little mouse to be. I always love fat mice. I think they're so cute. And I'm just taking this 40 spiral and I'm, you know, doing what we did in the beginning and just going over and tacking it all down. Super easy. So now you have a really good body shape. Just smooth it out if it's not, if it looks a little uneven, just work on that part. Keeping my stabs pretty close to each other with this 40 in sections, going in sections. Okay. A little more vegetable matter there. All right, so now I'm just gonna roll it in my hands. I put my thumb on the back side of it, and I'm just rolling it with my thumb on the back side, and then my hands are touching the rest of his body and his nose. And I'm just using this to continue the felting process, smooth them out a little bit. Okay, looking really good. I'm just gonna take my 242s that are in this little tool. If you don't have a little tool like this, that's okay. You can hold 242s together or put them in a rubber band. Nothing fancy necessary for any of this stuff. I'm just going over it to continue the smoothing process. That is one of the questions that people ask me a lot, is how I get my pieces really smooth, and this is how. You work with a stronger needle in the beginning and work your way down. So I've gone all the way from 38 to 40, now to 42. 42 is the finest. And I'm doubling them up. So when you double them up, they work harder for you, basically. Okay. It looks pretty good to me. So now what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna get this felt. Now you can do any color felt you want. You don't have to pick the color I chose, but so if you have any on hand, that's perfectly fine. We are gonna make 2 little tiny ears and a tail. I have this transfer marker, and again, can be anything. I am just gonna get it to right. Oh, he may be out. He is out of ink. Let me grab another marker. All right, I found a pink Sharpie. So I'm gonna do it super light. But basically all I do is just make like a little ear shape. Okay. And that is, if you need to know how big it is. So both of those are 1/2 inch. 1/2 by 1/2, super easy. 1/2 up, 1/2 sideways. And we're gonna go ahead and cut these out. I chose pink since I had to go choose another marker. I chose pink, so hopefully that'll give it like a little bit of a shading around the ear. Nobody will know the difference. You're just gonna cut them out. Make sure there's no like super sharp edges. I tend to cut my circles sharp. I don't know why. Okay. So you need the 2 little ears. Then take your little guy, measure how long you would like the tail to be. I like it to be about that far off the mouse. I'll tell you where that is. That's 3 inches. So I cut a 3-inch rectangle, and I'm just gonna start wide and then narrow down my cut to a tip, to a point. Okay? So that's our ears and our tail. So for the ears, Very simple. I'm going to try to rub a little of that off, but it's not going to matter too much. You're going to take it and pinch it in your fingers, and you're going to figure out where you want the ears to be. Now, so the nose is going to be here. The eyes are going to be about here. And I just like to put the ears kind of right back behind where the eye's going to be. Not too far back on the head. Just to get it anchored in, I'm going to use a 36 right in the center. And that's really going to anchor it. And then the corners or the edges. Okay, so that's just anchored. It's not completely set yet. So same thing with this one. You squeeze it, fold it over a little bit. Take your 36 or a strong needle. If you have a 32, that'll work also. Right in the center, and then the outside corners. Now what this is doing, if you'll see, the ear now is not just a straight ear, it's actually curved. It's like a concave now, and that's because I put the center down first. So now I'm going to go over to my 38, and I'm going to just hit where this meets the mouse all the way across, and kind of focus on that center. Maybe go back a little bit on that, like a little further back inside the ear. Okay, if I fold them over, I can hit the back with it as well. Okay. And I'm going to take just a pinch for each ear, little pinch, stretch that out, place it in the front and wrap it around the back of the ear. So I have a little bit of that in the front. It's just a wisp, really. And I'm going to take my 242s and I'm just going to anchor those down, touching the inside of the ear. And the front of the head. And then the back of the ear. This is really going to help anchor the ears in. And then I'll just get that flat on his body, the excess. Okay. Looking cute. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing with this one. This was just a little pinch. I'm going to lay it in the front, hold it down, and wrap it around the back. This is a very good way to secure anything that you attach to a body, because if it's tugged on and you just have it in with just a needle itself, chances are it's going to pop out. This is like just adding wool that is glue, wool glue. Sounds funny. Okay. All right. He's so cute. And take my 40 again and just kind of go back over one more time, just on that bottom edge. Alrighty. Now for the tail, take the thick end, kind of fold it over in between your fingers and just start rubbing like this. Definitely do not want a flat tail. We want it to look like a mouse tail. If you wanted your tail to be bendable, at this point right here, you could add a little thin piece of wire, like I'd say maybe like a 22 gauge, something super tiny and thin. If you wanted to, you could. I don't really do that on my mice. Then you're going to take your flesh color, and then you're just going to pull off a thin, long strip, a little bit bigger than the tail. I kind of like to flatten it out, get my, so much straw in this today. So get it kind of flattened out, lay it on there. My goodness. Fold that over, just right over it. Make sure it's covered on both sides. Take your two 42s and just very gently attach this wool to your felt. This is the most realistic mouse tail that I've ever been able to make. Now I'm going to pull off the excess, all that excess wool, and rub it so it looks like this. I'm going to rub it in my hands. Now, once it's really getting its shape, I'm just going to take the tips of my fingers and just really rub it out. I'm rubbing hard on my hand, getting the oils of my hand in the wool. This is encouraging the felting process. A little bit of an extra bit here. I'm just going to trim that off at an angle. Roll that in my fingertips. And I'm just going to keep rolling. This is felting it. Now this is the point where if you do want to make this more skin-like, you can add your power wax or your washable clear glue. The power wax is just a clear wax that's malleable. And what I do is I just put it in my hand like that, and I'm just going to rub it in my hand. So it's not coating it like to the point where it's going to be thick on there, but what it's going to do is when it dries, it's going to have like almost like a wax-like appearance. It's going to look like flesh, like skin. Okay, now I'm just going to hit it again. If I had put a whole bunch of wax on that, I wouldn't want to be, you know, stabbing it again. But I just put a tiny amount. Just going down, I just want to reduce its size a little. You could do the same thing with that glue. Just put it in your hand like that. If you want to add some water to it, you can definitely add some water to it. Okay, pretty good. So now it's for sure it has stretched out more than the 3 inches. So I really wanted it to be 3 inches, so I'm gonna go ahead and just cut a little bit past 3 inches. And then I'm gonna come to the back, sort of attach it right in the center there. Take my 36, pop it down. Right in the center. And I want to really stab it deep into the wool, not surface, but get it in there. And I'm folding it over and I'm doing the back side. You can feel it really has to push its way through that now because we felted it pretty well. And we're going to do the same thing with this. Get a little pinch, pull it out, draft it a little, put some on the front, some on the front, wrap it around to the back. Take my 42s, and I do want to hit the tail. And whatever's left over, I'm just going to felt it in. Put a little more wax on the tip of this tail, just to help it hold shape. And I'm going to blend that in. Okay. So now, if you did not want to use the felt for the for the tail, there is another way to do that. And basically what you'll do is you're going to get, if you wanted to make the tail a different way, or you don't have felt on hand, you can always felt your ears, you know, just in those 2 little shapes, 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch flat. And then you can always get your flesh tone and you can wrap it around a skewer like this and just go, go up, stay really tight, overlapping and going at an angle. Do your 3 inches and then come back at the opposite angle. Stay really tight. So that is another way to do it. I'm just going to roll my excess in so I don't lose the tightness. And then I would rub that between my hands. You can already put the power wax in your hand for this, like at this stage. Once you get that down pretty well, you're going to pop it off. And then keep rolling and felting. And it will, you know, if you start maybe a little thinner than I did, it'll definitely thin out. You could even pull it a little bit, but that's how you do it on a skewer, just in case you wanted to. So the next thing we're going to do is our little eyes. Not sure if I mentioned these in the beginning, but they are just little bead eyes. I think they're glass on a stem. I got them on Amazon. I can put the link in the description. I'm going to come down maybe a quarter of the way from the eyes. So quarter of the distance from the, quarter of the distance from the ear to the nose. I'm going to come down a quarter of the way, and then I'm stabbing. You can actually see it coming out the back. You don't have to stab that far, but I'm stabbing towards the back, towards the hiney. And then I'm pushing it in an up direction, sideways, sideways, and down. So I'm literally like lifting this up, pushing sideways, pulling sideways, pushing down as I'm doing this. So I'm not just going like this. I'm actually trying to create a hole that is going to stay for me. And when I do it like this, I don't lose my hole. Get your glue. Now for this, I can just get it to the end and stick it on there. There's, okay. So I got my glue. I see my hole. I'm gonna stick it right in there. Now, if you don't want to do so much work, you are going to probably lose your hole and you'll have to start your hole again. Okay, and now I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to come right about here. Get it in a good spot. You make sure I like it there. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to get it in a good spot, and I'm just going to do the same thing. Up, down, sideways, sideways. You're actually felting the inside of the hole when you do it like that. Whoops. Almost hurt myself. Okay. Get your glue. Super simple. He's looking really cute. And then the next thing that we're going to do is get the pink for the nose. Lost the top to my glue. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. And get a little tiny pull of pink, just a teeny little amount. Tiny, tiny. Roll it up into like a little ball. And that might even be too big. No, I like it. Okay, so I'm holding it on the tip, and I'm just gonna right now, just so y'all can kind of see there. So I just take this is a 42 that I'm using. And I'm just stabbing that in. I think I'm gonna go to my 40. You'll feel what will work best for you. you go. And now you could leave it like that if you want, or you can get another small little piece and make a little mouth. So I'm going to do that to show you. I've done a lot of these without a mouth, and I think they're just as cute, but I will show you. For the mouth, you're just going to make a little straight line going from the nose down, and then you can pull it over to the side. And you always want to smile. So turn that corner up. I'm going to pull that off. Anything extra here I can just pop in. There was a little too much extra there, so I pulled it off. And then you can just make a little line again, just by rolling it between your fingers, making a thin little piece. It is going to bunch up on you, so you have to hold both sides of it down. Put it where you want it, and then just tack. Go to the end and tack, and then put it all the way down. Try to curve it up a little. You can just clip off the extra and then tack it down. If pulling the extra is too hard, sometimes it'll pull the whole mouth out. You just have to be super gentle. There you go. How cute is that? I'm going to take my 242s and smooth this face out a little because we've been manipulating it with noses and eyes and mouths. So smooth it out. Careful not to stab your eye post, your stems. And there you have it. Cute little 1-inch mouse. Cute little ears. There you go. And you can do this in any color you want. I've made them in black, white, browns. Picked this color today because I felt like this would be just the easiest one for you to see. And but I've done all different colors, and they are all really, really cute. If you want to put a string on it, you can. This is an embroidery thread. It works pretty well. I like to thread it through this crochet hooky thing. I honestly do not know what it's called because I don't crochet. My daughter does, but I don't. So I'm just hooking it through there. And take your, right behind the ears, take your awl, and you're going to just create a little, well, you want to make it straight. Let me see. Make it straight, right behind the ears. And you're just going to create like a little passageway there to slip this needle thing through. Okay, then you take this and you're gonna have to kind of forcefully put it because it's a little bit bigger than that awl. You just push it through. Find the end. There we go. Persistence pays off. Okay, sometimes it's hard for my hand to push it through, so I just put it flat and pop it through like that. Okay, and then pull one end of the string through. Take your string, make sure it's even, and just tie a little knot at the end. Now, instead of just a mouse, you have an ornament, or maybe something you can hang on your lunch bag, something like that. And when you put it there right behind the ears, it's a balance point. So that's going to be good. I always like to take my 242s, because when you do that, you tug him up a little bit. You tug the wool up. So I always like to just pop it down when I do that. Like that. So that is how you turn him into a little hanging mouse. I hope you have really enjoyed this. He's so cute. Make lots of them. Find me on Facebook and show me your little mice. I would absolutely love to see them. And you can shop with me on my store. It is www.morefunwithfelt.com. I have beginner kits there of an owl and a penguin. If you are interested, I only have like 9 left as of the time I'm making this video. So make sure you run over there and get your beginner kit. I have a full-length tutorial that shows you how to make both of them. Of course, you know, the tutorial is completely free, part of the kit. And on Instagram, the @morefunwithfelt. So find me there, reach out, connect. I would absolutely love to see what you guys make. And the next time, I am going to be showing you how to make a really cute little peacock. So we will see you then, and I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day. Bye-bye.